Good evening, everybody. We are live on this amazing Saturday night. It's a little bit special because it's the Saturday night where all the clocks go back. So we can spend loads of time. We spent like an extra hour on it tonight, and then Kim, good evening. And then we just rewind an hour. Doesn't matter. That's how it is. Matthew, how are we? Good evening, pal. Good to see you. As always, we'll just give it a few minutes for people to join. I've got a gingerbread latte tonight. I thought I bought some new syrups for these coffees. I thought we're doing this a lot. I'm going through a lot of coffee. Let's start mixing it up and getting different syrups in. Boom in the house. Good, thanks. Hope you are too. Excellent, Matt. Excellent. Yeah, it's good to see that we all live a very rock and roll lifestyle on a Saturday night, and that we're all staying in to read a book. But this book, guys, is amazing. Kim, I am plugged in. Thank you very much. Laura, good evening to you. Gemma Green, good evening to you. Analog 82, you're new. I've not seen your name knocking around before. If you are new and you're watching this scope for the first time, then type new and type your name and where you're from. It's amazing every time to see where people are tuning in from. I've had people from all over the world. And missing X Factor. Oh no, yeah, well, is X Factor like a double bill tonight? Because I've just seen all Simon's contestants go through, but I don't now think they're on to Cheryl's. Kim's got a Maltesers hot chocolate. Boom, there you go. Archie's here as well. Good evening to you, Archie. Good to see you. The Milliams, Kuna K. Let us know where you're tuning in from, guys. It's awesome. Sasha Nicole, Girly Whirly 72 is here. How are we doing, Archie? Good to see you, man. Yeah, we were just talking about X Factor. If you're from the UK, then X Factor's on right now. But I appreciate you even more if you're watching this, as opposed to watching X Factor. Although maybe you can keep it on in the background a little bit, and you just keep. Don't turn it up though. Don't get distracted. Yeah, we're going to be talking about some serious life-changing stuff tonight. but yeah, you can always keep it on. Keep me updated with who's going through. Hello, Gemma. Good to see you. So I apologise for not doing this last night, guys, by the way, but Bulletproof Book Club, normally it's every Friday night. Yesterday I went over to Chester to see a headshot photographer. Well, he's not just a headshot photographer, he's awesome, a guy called Tony Blake. The Milliams says nope. What are you saying nope to, Milliams? As in you're not watching X Factor? Went over to see Tony Blake. I don't know if anyone on this scope has been to see Tony, if you're an actor and he's done your headshots for you, but the guy's absolutely awesome. I got home, Kim, at about, it must have been about, I think about 32 minutes past 10 to be precise, because I did check my watch to go, is it too late to just get on the Facebook group and go, guys, do you want to scope now? But I thought, nah, people are going to be in bed. Yeah, it was pretty late, but it was just Friday night, delays everywhere in Chester. It was a nightmare. X Factor very cheesy tonight. I still love Anton though. Anton is the man for me on X Factor. He's 45, he deserves a break. Look at the language Anton uses and the self-talk that he uses, guys, when we're talking about mindset. He uses a lot of negative self-talk and like limiting beliefs. He says things like, I've wasted all this time, or my time, you know, kind of like, you know, I wish I'd have done this or I'd done that. I'm always in the background. I want to call it, you know, the guy's kind of like, you can see he's suffering from a lot of limiting beliefs. It'll be really interesting to see if he gets through each week how he kind of expands his mindset, and that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So for those new to these scopes, rock and roll would have been in bed at 10:30, Kim said. Yeah, that's what I thought. We won't do the scope last night. So for those new to these scopes, by the way, guys, yeah, my name's Ross. I'm an actor from Manchester in the UK. I'm a voiceover artist as well, but I also kind of like specialise in mindset and productivity and motivation and positivity and everything really that kind of success generally, to be honest, greatness and success, what makes people great effectively. And Monday, Wednesday and Friday nights I do these scopes at 10 PM in the UK for about 30 minutes, and we talk about different aspects of mindset. And on a Friday we do something called Bulletproof Book Club, where we look at some books that are wicked that you can read on the nights that you're not scoping with me, and you can expand your mind even further. We started looking at Carol Dweck's mindset last week. We do it one book a month every Friday night, so we'd have 4 sessions normally. We're only going to have 2 on this because we're going to move on to a new book by a pal of mine that's coming out on the 27th in just 3 days time, that I want everybody to go out and buy because he's a legend, top bloke, and it's a great book as well. And then we're going to be talking about that for the next 4 Fridays. So mindset, for those who chade up, please. What does that mean, Ted? Chade up. I don't know what that means, but it might be a typo on your phone. Type that in again, Ted. Let me understand what you're talking about. For those new to this book who weren't on the first scope, guys, it's about 2 types of mindsets that human beings can have. Carol Dweck's the author, and she terms them as either a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Okay, I'll go through, I've got a little graphic here that I'm going to upload to the replay of this as well for you guys, that kind of summarizes both types of mindsets and the way that each mindset looks at the world. So I'll go through this now so that those who weren't on the first scope can kind of catch up and know what we're talking about. Before I'll read you some awesome excerpts from the book that are hopefully going to give you a lot of things to think about over this weekend and into next week, and just for the rest of your life. So a fixed mindset, okay, there's two mindsets, fixed mindset and growth mindset. The fixed mindset thinks that basically intelligence is static. You can swap out the word intelligence for whatever you want. It could be the actors on this scope, it could be the acting ability is static. You know, it could be that your voiceover ability is static, your intelligence is static, your ability to work technology and edit a show reel, or, you know, take photographs, whatever it is, any kind of ability, your sporting ability, your driving ability, anything, they think that it's kind of static. It's almost like they take an IQ test and they go, right, my IQ is whatever, I don't know, 95, 100, 120, you know, whatever you come out with. And they go, right, that's me, I'm in this box, I'm fixed, that's kind of like my capacity, that's my potential, that's all I'm ever going to have. Now that has a knock-on effect in a lot of areas of people's lives. They look at things, well, it leads to a desire really to look smart effectively, and therefore a tendency when they're faced with challenges to avoid challenges. Okay, when they're faced with obstacles to give up easily because they don't want to look stupid. You see, they don't want to, they have to try and prove themselves. Andre, great to see you. People with a fixed mindset have to try and prove themselves and prove their ability to other people to get validation, okay, because they don't think that they're ever going to get better, so they need to be told that they're good already. So they give up easily on obstacles. They see effort as fruitless or worse than fruitless because they go, well, what's the point of putting effort in? Because there's no point. My intelligence is fixed anyway. My ability is fixed anyway. Criticism. They ignore useful negative feedback. Who here, and just be honest, because I used to be like this, right? I never used to be able to deal with criticism that well, if I'm completely honest with you guys, and I'll just be completely hold my hands up, until I started kind of, you know, developing myself a few years ago. I'd struggle with criticism. Give me some hearts if you do, or give me some yeses or nos, whether you actually, criticism is something that you kind of can take to heart maybe a bit more than you would like to, where people might not actually be criticising you as a person. They might just be criticising something that you know, a performance you've done or something, you know. And I do a performance, and sometimes someone would say, I never quite know how to take it to Skip. No, I wouldn't, because I'd do something, and you know, people would say they'd give me like, give me some hearts if this is you. They'd give me 9 great things about my performance. They would give me one thing that they didn't like. What was, when I left that room and I left that theatre or stage or wherever it was, what was the one thing that I focused on out of those 10 pieces of advice they'd given me? I tried making it constructive but take it to heart. I got 9 pieces of great feedback, 1 piece of negative feedback. Which do you think was the one that I focused on the most when I left? Do you think I concentrated on the 9 pieces of brilliant feedback that I got? Or do you think that I took that 1 piece to heart and went, oh, I'm rubbish? I always took to heart rather than seeing it as something to work on. Good, I acknowledge you for admitting that, Archie, because I was exactly the same. Honestly, I would obsess over that one thing that they said they didn't like about what I'd done, as opposed to actually celebrating the 9 things that were great, and then going, what can I work on to get better at that one thing that wasn't? Better now, but instinctively I used to feel very defensive. I think it's probably a natural trait, you know, that we're all kind of born with. I think we're kind of born with a negativity bias in our brain, and we probably lean naturally towards a fixed mindset. I'm going to explain to you about the growth mindset in a minute, and this is what I want to develop more for myself and for all you guys as well, because I think it's going to, you know, it really will hugely enhance your life. Nippy67 or whatever you call, great to see you. Let us know where you're watching from. So criticism, if you've got a fixed mindset, you don't take criticism very well at all, and you ignore useful feedback. You'd rather just kind of push it to the back of your mind and just go ignore it as opposed to working on it. And success of others, okay, feel threatened. They feel threatened by the success of others. Who's felt that before? And again, just let's be honest, I have, definitely, particularly when I was younger. In my teens, I went up for an audition for a TV part on something, We're All Born Negative, says Atelier. That's what a great name. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, mate, but yeah, I think we are all kind of born with this negativity bias, because we need it in order to survive sometimes. We need to know all the bad things that are going on around us. You know, back in the day, we needed it, you know, for flight, you know, flight or fight, basically, when we needed to know all the dangers and stuff. Yas is here as well. Yas, great to hear from you. So yeah, when I was younger, I went for an audition for something called Children's Ward. I don't know if anyone on here is old enough to remember Children's Ward in the UK. If you were in the UK, it was a kids' TV show. Laura says it depends who's criticising. That's true as well. And me and a friend of mine went up for a different part each, though. We weren't against each other, we were going for a different part. And I was convinced I'd got my part, he was convinced he got his part. I didn't get my part, he got his part. I genuinely felt threatened by his success then, by going, oh my goodness, like, I thought I was kind of like equally as good as him. You know, what's going on? Kel was in Children's Ward. No way was she, Archie. Awesome. Yes, ITV Tea Time After School. Exactly. Absolutely, Sam. I remember that show. It was on CITV. It was. Atelier is from Belgium. You wouldn't have got Children's Ward in Belgium, but you might have had a similar show. It was about children in a hospital, in a children's ward. But it was great. But yeah, I didn't get that role. And I, you know, back then, totally found it hard to celebrate other people's successes. Now, I find it very easy, but back then, I really struggled with it. You know, I felt if someone else was having more success than me, it was highlighting the fact, even compounding the fact that I wasn't doing as well. Remember that show well, says Yas. Yeah, it's awesome. Honestly, it was great. So that's the fixed mindset, okay? What I've kind of, well, definitely, you know, developed to a certain extent, and what you guys have obviously, you know, I think a lot of you have developed to a certain extent, but what I really want to work on to develop more, and I want you guys to work on to develop more, is this growth mindset. Now, a growth mindset thinks that intelligence can be developed, that it isn't fixed. Okay, and you can sub out again that word intelligence for whatever you want. So an acting ability is not fixed, it can be developed. Your ability to, you know, to actually expand your mind like this is not, you know, this is not fixed. You know, if you have a fixed mindset now, you can develop a growth mindset. Don't have a fixed mindset and stay fixed. You can develop a growth mindset. Your ability on everything, sporting ability, is not fixed. You know, your ability to, this is one that a lot of older people say to me. They go, well, I talk about computers a lot, and you know, because I run a website and I run a few websites, and people go, oh, but that's your generation, isn't it? And I'm like, well, not really, to be honest, because I didn't grow up with a computer. We didn't have the internet. I'm 33, we didn't have the internet when I was at school at all. So this is something that's still quite new to me. The kids who are born now, this is all completely going to be relevant to them. But people, you know, older than me, or a lot older than me, often say to me, oh, but that isn't, you know, that's your kind of thing, isn't it? Bought this book today, Vishal, awesome. Reprogram the mind, exactly. So the older people will say to me, oh, but you know, I wouldn't understand that, you know, and I'm like, no, that's such a fixed mindset. You can develop skills. There's a couple of people I know who I've employed who have been late 50s, early 60s to code parts of my websites. And they're far more technical than I am on that side of things. So people need to get over that limiting belief of their age as well, and going, age puts me in a bracket so that I have a fixed ability for whatever it is because of my age. It's nonsense. So a growth mindset thinks that everything can be developed, okay? Then that leads to a desire to learn as opposed to a desire to prove yourself, and therefore a tendency to embrace challenges, to persist in the face of setbacks, okay, to see effort as the path to mastery, so not something that's worthless or fruitless because you're not going to get better at it anyway. And they learn from criticism. So they will take criticism, and not only take criticism, but they will actively ask for feedback. And I try and do this a lot more now. Because I think when you ask for the feedback and almost ask for the criticism, go, what could I have done better there? Even if people think, oh, that was great, that was really, really good, whatever you did, you go, yeah, but what could I have done better? When you're asking for it, it almost empowers you. So any criticism that they give you, it's kind of you've asked for it, and it's fine. So if you did struggle with criticism, if you consciously ask for feedback, and you know, you ask for that criticism, then it actually, the power stays with you as opposed to other people forcing it upon you. And people with a growth mindset, it says here, find lessons and inspiration in the success of others. So they will celebrate other people's achievements, you know, and they will congratulate other people when they get roles, or you know, when they get promotions at work, or you know, whatever it is, or they pass their driving test and you haven't passed your driving test yet. It doesn't matter. They will congratulate people on that, as opposed to feeling threatened by it, and like, you know, and feel that, you know, they're, not as capable, or they feel even worse about themselves because someone else is in their eyes doing better, and as a result they reach even higher levels of achievement. So that's the two mindsets, the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. We want to develop a growth mindset, and I just want to read a couple of bits of Carol's book. This is Carol Dweck's book. Awesome, absolutely brilliant book. It says how you can fulfill your potential. It's not just about, it's nothing to do with the acting industry particularly. I know there's a lot of actors on here, but business, parenting, school, relationships. Relationships is something that I want to talk about now, because not just in terms of like your intimate relationship or your partner, but relationships with everybody in your life, because having a fixed mindset can really affect your relationships with people. And one thing that you need just in every area of your life is successful relationships. It's kind of like the key to it all, isn't it? If people want to be around you and want to spend time with you, and actually want to be a part of your life because of the relationship you have with them, it's just going to lead to a lot more success and fulfillment in your life. So Carol here talks about it talks about kind of her relationship, and also some studies that she's done as well. You can choose who you get feedback from. So yeah, exactly, you definitely can, Andre. Yeah, definitely. Don't bend the cover. Kim hates it when I bend the cover on books, but then I did it on the last one as well. Greg's book is a complete disaster now, Kim. It breaks the spine, but it just makes it easy. It makes me feel like I'm using the book better. It makes me feel that I'm getting my money's worth out of it. When it looks a bit trashed, I'm like, yeah, that book's in here now. That's not just on the page, that's in my mind. So this chapter's labelled Inside the Mindset. So I'm going to read you three parts of it. It's probably going to take 15 minutes, and then we'll stop in between each one, and we'll kind of discuss it. Cone Zone, welcome to the Periscope. Good to see you. Let us know where you are tuning in from. If you're just joining now, we're talking about mindsets and the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. It's fascinating. Well, it is for me anyway. I hope it is for you guys. It's one of those things that makes me cringe. That's folding the book up for Kim. Don't look at it, Kim. Don't look at it. You'll be fine. So Carol talks a lot about in a first person. So when I read things out like when I was a young woman, I'm not talking about myself. Guys, I've never been a young woman. So here we go. Carol says, when I was a young woman, I wanted a prince-like man, very handsome, very successful, a big cheese. I wanted a glamorous career, but nothing too hard or risky. And I wanted it all to come to me as a validation of who I was. So she wanted all of these amazing things, these perfect things in her life, really to come to her as a validation of who she was. She thought if she gets all these great things, then she must be a great person. It would be many years before I was satisfied. I got a great guy, but he was a work in progress. I have a great career, but boy is it a constant challenge. Nothing was easy. So why am I satisfied? I'm satisfied because I changed my mindset. Okay, so she changed her mindset eventually in terms of she wanted all those perfect things, the guy, the career, all those kind of things. She realised she was never going to be satisfied if she didn't change her mindset. She changed it because of her work. She says, I changed it because of my work. One day, my doctoral student, Mary Bandura, that was one of her students, and I were trying to understand why some students were so caught up in proving their ability, while others could just let go and learn. Suddenly we realised that there was two meanings to ability, not one. A fixed ability that needs to be proven, and a changeable ability that can be developed through learning. That's how the mindsets were born. I knew instantly which one I had. I realised why I'd always been so concerned about mistakes and failures. And I recognised for the first time that I had a choice. So if you kind of, that resonates with you guys and you're going, actually, yeah, you know what, maybe I do lean towards more of a fixed mindset, then I want you to remember that you do have a choice. You know, staying with a fixed mindset is completely, well, staying with the fixed mindset in it for the rest of your life. You do have a choice and you can develop, you can change. She goes, when you enter a mindset, you enter a new world. In one world, the world of fixed traits, so the world of fixed traits, success is about proving you're smart or talented, validating yourself. In the other, the world of changing qualities, it's about stretching yourself to learn something new, developing yourself. In one world, failure is about having a setback, getting a bad grade, losing a tournament, getting fired, getting rejected. It means you're not smart or talented. In the other world, Failure is about not growing, not reaching for new things you value. It means you're not fulfilling your potential. In one world, effort is a bad thing. It's like failure. It means you're not smart or talented. If you were, you wouldn't need effort. In the other world, effort is what makes you smart or talented. You have a choice. Mindsets are just beliefs. They're powerful beliefs, but they're just something in your mind, and you can change your mind. As you read or as you listen, think about where you'd like to go and which mindset will take you there. So as I'm reading you the next few bits, guys, think about where you want to go in your life, in your career, in your relationship. All areas of your life, whether it's job, maybe your physicality, spirituality, emotional stuff, relationships. Think about where you kind of want to be, where your goals would be, and then think about which mindset is going to get you there. Is it the mindset that's going to always look at things being fixed and that you can't develop or get better at stuff, or is it going to be the mindset that looks at failure as something that you can learn from? And you're always stretching yourself and you want to put effort in, and effort is something that makes people great. So he says here, is success about learning or proving that you're smart? Okay, Benjamin Barber, an eminent sociologist, once said, I don't divide the world into the weak and the strong, or the successes and the failures. I divide the world into the learners and the non-learners. So what are you guys? Are you a learner or are you a non-learner? What on earth would make someone a non-learner? Everyone is born with an intense drive to learn. Infants stretch their skills daily, not just ordinary skills, but the most difficult tasks of a lifetime, like learning to walk and talk. They never decide it's too hard or not worth the effort. Babies don't worry about making mistakes or humiliating themselves. They walk, they fall, they get up, they just barge forward. So think of that, guys, right? When you're little, imagine that, one of the biggest things you'll ever do in your life is learn to talk and learn to walk. Such hugely complicated tasks that you take for granted nowadays. When you were a kid, you didn't fall over and go, that's it, my ability to walk is fixed, I've fallen over, so I'm not going to get up, there's no point in putting any more effort in. When you were learning to talk, you didn't go, right, I can't pronounce that word properly, so my language is now fixed, I'm never going to learn another word. It says here, what could put an end to this exuberant learning? The fixed mindset, that's what. As soon as children become able to evaluate themselves, some of them become afraid of challenges. They become afraid of not being smart. I've studied thousands of people from preschoolers on, and it's breathtaking how many reject an opportunity to learn. In a study that Carol goes on to talk about now, she says, we offered 4-year-olds a choice. They could redo an easy jigsaw puzzle, or they could try a harder one. Even at this tender age, children with the fixed mindset, the ones who believed in fixed traits, stuck with the safe one. Kids who are born smart don't do mistakes, they told us. Children with the growth mindset, the ones who believed you could get smarter, thought it was a strange choice. Why are you asking us this, lady? Why are you asking this, me lady? Why would anyone want to keep doing the same puzzle over and over? They chose one hard one after another. I'm dying to figure them out, exclaimed one little girl. So children with a fixed mindset want to make sure they succeed. Smart people should always succeed, they believe, but for children with the growth mindset, success is about stretching themselves. It's about learning to be smarter. One seventh grade girl summed it up. She says, I think intelligence is something you have to work for. It isn't just given to you. Most kids, if they're not sure of an answer, will not raise their hand to answer the question. But what I usually do is raise my hand, because if I'm wrong, then my mistake will be corrected. Or I will raise my hand and say, how would this be solved? Or I don't get it, can you help me? Just by doing that, I'm increasing my intelligence. So who wouldn't answer a question at school when the teacher asked you a question and she throws it out to the class? Who was the people, and I experienced this a few times where I thought, I know the answer to this, but I'm not going to put my hand up just in case I'm wrong. Someone else smarter than me will answer it, and then I'll just be fine. I'll be fine with that. They can answer it. Was that you? Let me know if that was you, or give it some hearts if that was you. Because I think a lot of people go through that, and also in life now when you're older. I go to quite a lot of workshops and things with actors and that kind of stuff, and the tutor might be talking about something that they think is common knowledge for everybody. So they might talk about something with a bit of technical language or something like that. Everyone in that room is thinking, shit, what do they mean? What does that mean? Like, but they're too afraid to put their hand up and say, sorry, I don't understand that, because they think that everyone else in the room gets it, and they're the only person in the room who doesn't understand that piece of jargon that person's asked. And it's only when one person gets the guts up to go, look, I'm sorry if I look stupid here, but what do you mean when you say that, because I don't understand it, that everyone else goes, oh my God, thank God you asked, because we didn't get it either. Who's been in a situation like that? I've been in it so many times where that has happened, because they don't want to raise their hand in case they look daft. Had a workshop with Jane Anderson today, and they gave us this advice to always ask. Yeah, because people do just go, yeah, or they'll go, did you watch that thing with Thingy in it? Because we want you to do this scene a bit like he did it. And they'll go, yeah. Thinking that if they say they didn't watch that film or they didn't watch that TV programme, that they think everybody else has watched because it's like a classic. I've hardly watched any classic films. People always say to me, oh, did you watch Brando in that? Or did you watch, I don't know, Robert De Niro in such and such a thing? And I used to be like, oh yeah. And then I just have to agree with everything that they said. Now I just go, no, I haven't watched it, mate. Honestly, it's something that I need to work on, and I will watch kind of like more of these things. But for me, I'd actually rather go and watch something more modern than something that's actually more contemporary. As a child, I confidently answered a question wrong and was told not to be so stupid by my teacher. Wow. Well, your teacher obviously had a fixed mindset then, Kim. That's just bonkers. But yeah, I admit all my flaws now, and it's so liberating. Just admit everything and ask questions. I have a thing where I go, there's no stupid questions by the questions you don't ask. And that's it. Live your life by that. There are no stupid questions except the ones that you don't ask. It's as simple as that. So let's look at beyond puzzles. So we've looked at kids who have a fixed mindset, wanting to do the same jigsaw over and over again, because they think, well, you know what, I can do it quickly, I'm going to look great, and then that's just going to reconfirm and validate to me that I'm good at jigsaws. The smart kids, who are genuinely smart, are the ones who want to push themselves and go, no, bring me another one, bring me a different one. I don't want to do the same one every time, because I'm not stretching myself and I'm not learning from that. So let's go beyond puzzles then, okay? It's one thing to pass up a puzzle, it's another to pass up an opportunity that's important to your future. To see if this would happen, we took advantage of an unusual situation. At the University of Hong Kong, everything is in English, okay? Classes are in English, textbooks are in English, and exams are in English. But some students who enter the university are not fluent in English, so it would make sense for them to do something about it in a hurry. Who agrees with that? If you go into a university where everything's in English, would you want to improve your English if you weren't fluent in English? Give me some hearts. Just validate that, because that's obvious, surely to goodness me. Gingerbread latte, it's like Christmas in a cup. I'm not saying any hearts. Come on, give me some hearts. You would want to improve your English, wouldn't you? Of course you would. You would definitely want to improve your English. So this is what they did. As students arrived to register for their freshman year, we knew which ones were not skilled in English, and we asked them a key question. If the faculty offered a course for students who need to improve their English skills, would you take it? We also measured their mindset. We did this by asking them how much they agreed with the statements. Remember, we asked statements on the last scope? Statements like this: you have a certain amount of intelligence and you can't really do much about it. Do you agree or disagree? People who agree with this kind of statement have a fixed mindset. Those who have a growth mindset agree that you can always substantially change how intelligent you are. Spiced pumpkin latte, Halloween in a cup, that's true, Kim. So later, we looked at who said yes to the English course, okay? Students with the growth mindset said an emphatic yes, but those with the fixed mindset were not very interested. Believing that success is about learning, students with the growth mindset seized the chance. But those with the fixed mindset didn't want to expose their deficiencies. Instead, to feel smart in the short run, they were willing to put their college career at risk. This is how the fixed mindset makes people into non-learners. So think about that, guys, because that's like really powerful. Think about a time or something, an opportunity that you might have now to stretch yourself, to go out where someone's going, actually, you know what, you've never done this before, do you want to do it? And part of you is thinking, oh my goodness, I'd love to do that because it'd be so useful for me. but actually, you know what, it takes me so far out of my comfort zone that I could look stupid, I don't want to do it. It's going to be easy for me to sit tight and just go, nope, not going to do anything about that. I'm just going to, you know, I'll look smart if I just stay with doing what I'm doing and I just keep repeating the same process. And unfortunately, you keep getting the same results though. So you're never going to, you know, even if your results are good, or your results might be fantastic, but they could be even better if you took that opportunity. It's going to take you out of your comfort zone, potentially show up some deficiencies, but deficiencies that you can work on, and then you know, and then improve at. So think about that, because that's massively, hugely empowering. If you have opportunities to do that, and that might be an acting workshop where you go, you know what, I'd love to go and work with that director, but I'd love to go and, you know, maybe learn about that area in theatre, but I've never done it before. I'm probably going to show myself up, so I won't do it. Go and do it. I had to sing in an audition. Sam, I got your email, by the way. I'm not ignoring you. Sam sent me an email. It was massive, Sam, and I was out all yesterday, so I've not had a chance to read it all properly yet. But I did get your email. So Sam went to an audition for a theatre gig, and she was asked to sing, and she's not comfortable with singing, but she sung. Sam, I thought your song choice was amazing. Is it all right if I talk about this? I can tell people about your experience, because it will help all us in the Bulletproof family. Let me know. Say yes if I'm all right to talk about what you sent me, because it's interesting. Yeah, sure. Okay, wicked. So Sam went for this audition for a theatre piece where she had to sing, and it wasn't like the main thing in the audition. There was other parts of the audition as well. It wasn't just a singing audition, but she's not particularly comfortable with it. She's a good dancer, but needs a bit more time to take in the dance moves. But you know, tried to concentrate as hard as she could on the dancing part of the audition. You know, and just did as best as you could on that. Did the acting part of the audition, and then it came to the song, the worst part of it, the thing that would take her out of her comfort zone completely. And she decided, great song choice, Sam, whereas other people were singing kind of like classic theatre songs, probably like Les Miserables and Cats and all that kind of thing. Sam sung The Wheels on the Bus. But she went away from the audition thinking, well, you know, did my best, just, you know, put myself out there, showed my deficiencies, it's fine, I'm going to learn from it, you know, growth mindset style. And got a call from an agent on the Monday saying they loved you, that you're the first person that they've given a part to. They're not going to give you a singing part because they know it's not in your comfort zone. So they're going to let you work on the things that you're good at or great at and give her a part that, you know, would play to those strengths, which is amazing. But had she not put herself through that challenge and through that uncomfortable situation to go, I'm going to go and sing, it's only 1/3 of my audition, but I've got to do it. The other 2/3 I'm all right at, I'm good at, but this 1/3 I'm not. She could have stepped away from that opportunity, become a non-learner, you know, had a fixed mindset, and then not got the job that she then got. So it's a perfect example, Sam. It's a really, really good example, so thanks for that. So last section I want to read you guys, what's your priority? And this is just what I want to end on, and I want you to think about and ask yourself. And then I want you to go and buy the book and read the rest of the book, because it's great, honestly. So if you had to choose, okay, which would it be? Loads of success and validation, or lots of challenge? It's not just on intellectual tasks that people have to make these choices. People also have to decide what kinds of relationships they want. Ones that bolster their egos, or ones that challenge them to grow. Who is your ideal mate? And think about this if you're in a partnership and you're coupled up with someone, or your boyfriend or girlfriend, or you're married, or think about this just within your general relationships as well with people around you, your family and your friends. So who's your ideal mate? We put this question to young adults, and here's what they told us. People with the fixed mindset said their ideal mate would put them on a pedestal, would make them feel perfect, would worship them. In other words, the perfect mate would enshrine their fixed qualities. My husband, this is Carol's husband, not my husband, I haven't got a husband. Carol says, my husband says that he used to feel this way, that he wanted to be the god of one person, his partner's religion. So he wanted his partner to be his religion, and he would be the god of it, okay? Fortunately, he chucked this idea before he met Carol. People with the growth mindset hope for a different kind of partner. They said their ideal mate was someone who would see their faults and help them to work on them, would challenge them to become a better person, would encourage them to learn new things. Certainly they didn't want people who would pick on them or undermine their self-esteem, but they did want people who would foster their development. They didn't assume they were fully evolved, flawless beings who had nothing more to learn, like people with a fixed mindset. So here we go. It says, are you already thinking, uh-oh, what if two people with different mindsets get together? A growth mindset woman tells about her marriage to a fixed mindset man. She says here, I had barely gotten all the rice out of my hair, It took me a while to figure that out before, guys. Obviously they mean like confetti. I was thinking, why has she got rice in her hair? It says, I have barely gotten all the rice out of my hair when I began to realise I made a big mistake. Every time I said something like, why don't we try and go out a little more, or I'd like it if you consulted me before making decisions, he was devastated. Then instead of talking about the issue I'd raised, I'd have to spend literally an hour repairing the damage and making him feel good again. Plus, he would then run to the phone to call his mother, who always showered him with the constant adoration he seemed to need. We were both young and new at marriage. I just wanted to communicate. So there's a woman who was like, growth mindset. How can we grow this relationship? How can we grow each other, get better, invest in each other? You know, and would question things and go, how can we make this better? Why don't we go out more? Why don't we do this? And as soon as she said anything, suggested anything to a partner, a fixed mindset, he closed down and went, whoa, like, you know, I take this as massive criticism. I can't grow through this criticism because I'm of a fixed ability in everything that I do. Thus, you're criticising me, I don't want to hear it, and I'm going to ignore it, or I'm going to have an argument with you. So the husband's idea of a successful relationship, total uncritical acceptance, was not the wife's. And the wife's idea of a successful relationship, confronting problems, was not the husband's. One person's growth was the other person's nightmare. So think about that if you've got that situation in your life. It might be with your partner, might be with friends, family, you know, that kind of thing. And how you can educate that person with a fixed mindset to hopefully develop a growth mindset. I'm not saying break up with these people or go and divorce your husband if he's of a fixed mindset. Nothing like that. Look at how you can use your kind of knowledge now of a growth mindset to influence those fixed mindsets in your life, whether they're your family, friends, siblings, whatever. But I think that's really, really interesting because, you know, I think relationships are so fascinating. I think there's kind of been a fairy tale analogy that's happened for too long with relationships. Fairy tales, let me give you a little bit of history about this. This is a little bit random. We'll talk about relationships for a second, but it's all to do with the mindset. In the 1400s, in France and Italy and other parts of Europe, fairy tales started to be invented effectively, and there were always tales of how the prince or the princess could actually have a relationship with the pauper, or, you know, the woodcutter, or, you know, whatever, so that noble people could have relationships with regular people, because that was just something that was just not, you know, just not remotely acceptable back then. And in the 1400s, these fairy tales came about, and they were always set in a land far, far away, because it couldn't possibly happen in the land that they were invented in. And it kind, you know, they were romanticized, and I think for a long time, you know, they became incredibly popular until it was almost like an epidemic. They spread throughout the entire Europe, and now they're kind of worldwide. And now we are brought up with fairy tales of Prince Charming and Cinderella and all these kind of things. And people think that relationships are just things that should be right from the off. So these are relationships, not just your intimate relationship, but all relationships. They go, it should just feel right, particularly your intimate relationships though. Little girls and boys growing up think that it should be like a fairy tale, and that everything should just feel right, and if something's not quite right, then oh, it must be wrong for me, and I've got to get out of it, or it can't work. And that's such a fixed mindset. If you want to get better at anything in your life, and think about the things that you've mastered so far in your life, you've trained for months, years, decades potentially to become a master and you know, mold that thing into a unique ability of yours. If I want to learn more about web design, I go to a web conference. If I want to learn more about mindset, I do periscopes like this, that kind of thing. So if I want to get better at relationships, what backwards kind of mentality must I have, and what fixed mentality must I have to think that I don't have to work at those either, and I don't have to get better at those? And that's where this thing about taking criticism really damages people's relationships in the workplace, at home, with their family, all that kind of thing, because a fixed mindset thinks the minute something comes up and goes, this isn't right, then they go, right, okay, well, I have an inability to grow and get better at that, thus we must end this relationship because it's never going to be right. And if it's the person with a fixed mindset who comes up with a thing that isn't right, then it's a total disaster. If the growth mindset person comes up with a thing that isn't right, they're more inclined to go, let's work at this, and how can we get through it, and how can we become better at it. The person with a fixed mindset comes up with an issue that they don't like in the relationship, they will just close it down because they will think it can't possibly it can't possibly get better. So just think about that in all of your relationships that you have around you, you know, with your friends and your family and your partner and that kind of thing. Who's got a fixed mindset? Who's got a growth mindset? Let me know if the majority of people, let's just say on average, do you think you surround yourself with more people of a growth mindset right now or more people with a fixed mindset right now? Nearly all of my friends back in the day, a few years ago, and my associates were probably all fixed mindsets. I included myself. Absolutely including myself, without a doubt, until I started really, you know, looking at self-development and personal growth and all these kind of things that we talk about on mindset right now. So let me know what you think. On average, the people, say the 5 people you spend the most time with, because they're the people who you'll be the average of those 5 people. Do you think you surround yourself with more fixed mindsets or more growth mindsets? And just be honest. I'm not telling you to kick those people out of your life, but now you know more about this, you can obviously help those people to get better at looking at things, you know, from a growth perspective. So let me know what you reckon. I reckon at the moment I've still probably got, I don't know, 30% of people that I have in my life are still pretty fixed, without a doubt. I have a lot of amazing friends now who definitely have growth mindsets and that I collaborate with regularly. But there's definitely still a good 30-40% of people that I know who absolutely have a fixed mindset. I think there's a massive moth knocking around and I keep hearing it smashing against the lights. Let me know, guys, what you think. And that's mindset. That's Carol Dweck's mindset. I mean, there's still, I've read like over these last 2 Bulletproof Book Club sessions, probably like 2.5 chapters of what is, wow, kind of like, what's that, like 5, 10, 15, probably 25 chapters. I think I have the most growth mindset. Oh, mixture of both. Someone said, I can't believe I just missed those comments. Oh, type it back in if you can be bothered, or give me a slightly abbreviated version of what you said. But yeah, there must be like 25 chapters of this book. It takes you through like every situation you could possibly come across and how people look at it, from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. There's a whole chapter there on changing mindsets, on tactics for how you can change it, live it more, the nature of change, mindset lectures that are in there. Denial, my life is perfect. That's something that people will just go, no, my life's fine, I'm happy. Similar to yourself regarding friends, says Sam. Oh, great, absolutely, yeah, definitely. Well, you try and change more people, try and affect them in a growth way. But yeah, there's definitely that denial where people will just go, of course I've got a growth mindset, everything in my life's fine. And really they haven't. That's convincing themselves they've got one when they're, you know, it's kind of like a fixed mindset in itself. You know, it's something that you will always develop. Mindset and willpower, learning and helping to learn, and then the road ahead, and then there's loads of studies and stuff in the back where all the information comes from, and then another list of recommended books that Carol gives us. Didn't know about that, but maybe we'll be including some of those in the Bulletproof Book Clubs from now on. And so what I'll do, guys, is I will put the link to get the book from Amazon. I think it's about £8 or something like that, on the replay page of this. So you go to actonthis.tv and then click on Periscope. So from tomorrow, you'll be able to watch the replay of this, and you'll also be able to check out this diagram as well, which will kind of summarise fixed and growth mindsets for you. So I hope that's been useful. What do you reckon overall as a book? Is it something that you would read? Is it something that you would find useful and you would go out and buy? Or you know, or if you don't have to like it, you know, you might not agree with it all, and that's totally fine. That's why we do this. I'm not a dictator going, you've got to go and read this book, and you know, I just think it's one for me. There was a bit of a game changer in terms of thinking, okay, maybe that's why I react like that, and I need to look at that from a different perspective. But I think it's very useful. I think it's quite cool, and it's something that I've told a few other people in my life to buy, and they found it really useful as well, which is cool. So let us know if you've enjoyed it. Next week, so next Friday, Gemma says very useful. Awesome, Gemma. Thanks for that. We're going to be looking at this guy, Lewis Howes. He's a legend. He's a top bloke, friend of mine. Sent me a pre-release copy of his book. He's even signed it, bless him. It's out on the 27th. It's out in 3 days' time. You can pre-order it on Amazon now. And it's basically, Lewis runs a podcast called The School of Greatness, which is a great podcast to listen to if you're on the train or, you know, wherever. He interviews some of the most successful people in the world, from business, from sports, celebrities, movie producers, some actors on there as well sometimes, but just generally just great people. And he interviews them and asks them basically what makes them great. So it's a really interesting thing, so that you can pick up lots of tips to go, oh, maybe I should start trying that, or I should do that. And he's written a book effectively from all of these podcasts that he's done over the last I think he's been doing it over more than 5 years, I think now. And there's exercises and things in here as well. It's just a really easy read, really. And there's things. Let's have a look on the contents page. Some of the exercises and stuff that he does in here. Or maybe he's not, because this is a pre-release one. There isn't a contents. Yes, there is. Creating a vision, turning adversity into advantage, cultivating a champion's mindset, developing hustle, mastering your body, practicing positive habits, building a winning team, and to be of service to others. So it's 8 chapters basically, and it's all about you know, how you can kind of find greatness within your own life. So we're going to be looking at this for the next 4 Fridays. You can get your copy in pre-order. If you don't want to buy it, you don't have to buy it, because I'm going to read you sections of it, but you'll only get 4.5 hours worth out of it. There is going to be an audiobook version as well. I know a few people on here like to listen to audiobooks as opposed to reading, so there will be an audiobook version. I think Lewis is recording this week, so it might not be out for a couple of weeks, but there is definitely going to be an audiobook version as well. So that's going to be from next Friday for 4 Fridays. We're going to do it the whole of November. And then it's December. I reckon in December book club, at least 1 week, for the last one in December, we do a Christmas book. There's nothing to do with mindset, and we just read some Christmas stories. What do you reckon about that? Give me some hearts if you agree with that. I bloody love Christmas. It's like absolutely my favourite time of the year. Christmas for me begins on the 6th of November. As soon as bonfire night is out of the way, literally at midnight, after bonfire night, my Spotify Christmas album goes on, and I'm Christmased up all the way into January then. So we'll do something quite Christmassy, I reckon, in December. So guys, thank you. I appreciate you so much for coming on. It's 11:15. This has been a 45-minute scope, but thank you. I hope you found it useful, and thanks for joining me on a Saturday night. What happened in X Factor? Anyone got any updates on X Factor? What did Cheryl take through? I only saw Simon's stuff. Hopefully you don't know, because you've been watching this as opposed to watching X Factor instead. But thank you, really appreciate you being here. I'll be back on Monday for some motivation and mind hacks. I don't know what that is going to be on yet. If you've got any suggestions, tweet me. It's at Ross A. Grants. Join our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/Bulletproof Actor. And if you want to get your invite for my upcoming mindset course, which is going to be changing lives over the next few weeks when it comes out in a few weeks' time. This is just one of the PDF documents from the course, all highly in-depth documents. You get 120 pages over 5 booklets and about 4.5–5 hours worth of video to go through. It's going to help you 10 times your confidence, 10 times your motivation, recraft a limitless life story for yourself to go and achieve things far beyond your wildest dreams, and really realize your potential as a human being, which literally is limitless. But a lot of people have so many limiting beliefs that just keep them down here, and really they should be like up here. So get to bulletproofactor.com, put your email address in, and you will get on the invite list. Hopefully we'll have a release date for you soon, guys. I know it's dragging a bit, but I'm going as fast as I can. I just got to deliver a quality product to you guys, so I don't want to rush it at all. So thanks for tuning in. I'll be back on Monday. Like I say, let me know what you want to talk about, and we'll be back at 10 PM. Don't forget to turn your clocks back tonight. Clocks go back at 2 AM in the morning tomorrow morning, but just roll it back an hour before you go to sleep. Don't forget, Girly Whirly, thank you. Thanks for coming on. So yeah, clocks go back. So effectively right now, might as well only be 10 to 10. We might as well do another hour if you want. Thanks for reminding, no problem. Yeah, well, it's an extra hour in bed, isn't it? It's good. It's all right, but I don't like the way that we lose daylight. I'm not a winter person, I'm not a dark person really. I love the summer and the daylight, but that's just the way it is. But yeah, clocks go back tonight, so don't forget. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I will love you and leave you. You're all amazing. Thanks so much. Hour less. No, it's an hour. It goes back. So you get an hour extra in bed, Sam. So in the morning when you'll be getting up at 10 o'clock, it's only 9 o'clock, so you can stay in bed for an extra hour. So this is good. This is a good one. So it's when you spring forward in the spring that you lose an hour's sleep, because when it's 9 o'clock, it's 10. They don't. No, they go back. No, they go. Sam, they go back. So remember this: spring forward, fall back. That's how I remember it. Fall back, Andre. Exactly. Spring forward, fall back. And yeah, it's back, so you get an extra hour in bed. So right now, go have a party. It's not 10 to 11 really, well it is, but it's actually really 10 to 10. So there we go, good news, awesome. Well, don't forget that, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll be back on Monday at 10 o'clock GMT. It'll be Greenwich Mean Time, not British Summer Time, because that's just about to end. Thanks ever so much. and I'll speak to you guys soon. Bye for now.